za baridi. Asanteni sana.
Mimi nikikuwa chairman wa barabara, Githunguri kutakosa barabara? Na si rais bajeti yake ilipita? Na katika hiyo bajeti ambayo ilipita, umeweka shilingi bilioni 5 za feeding program kwa watoto wa shule.
Siku ya Alhamisi wiki hii tulipitisha finance bill ambayo itakusaidia kukusanya ushuru ili hiyo barabara ya Moi Road, hii ya Githunguri town, hizo za Maumau zote, wewe kazi yako tukikupea pesa ya ushuru, wewe ni report form tutakuletea tu mwisho ya miaka 5 utuambie ngapi umefanya. Na najua wewe sio mzembe wa kazi, hiyo yote utafanya.
Tunataka tuambie wabunge wote mlipitisha bill, asanteni sana. Katika hii Mlima Kenya, we are great beneficiaries of finance bill. Your Excellency, mambo ya animal feeds ambaye nahusu hawa wakulima wa Githunguri na kwingineko imekuwa zero rated, imeondolewa ushuru, bei itateremka, wakulima watasaidika.
Niulize wewe, hao wananchi wamekusaidia mpaka umepata kazi, wewe unapata mshahara, alafu hao wananchi unawakataza 3% watoto wao wapate kazi pia. Please. Sijui kama tunaelewana jameni. Ati nyinyi watu wa Githunguri mnasema hamtaki mambo ya housing. Mlisema hamtaki mambo ya housing. Mimi mnataka hawa vijana wengi barabarani, mtatoa wapi kazi ya kuwapatia?
And welcome back from that clip. Kasanga, hands down, what do you make of such utterances by Gathoni, by MP Wamshomba? Because when you hear most of the people who spoke at that rally, they were speaking in echoes of what the Deputy President was saying, but she comes on to the stage and says, this bill isn't favorable for not only for Mount Kenya residents but also for Kenyans at large. What do you make of that?
It's being bold. You see, in politics, things can change,
yeah.
And the only way you have political survival is if the people can vote you back, and if the people, if you're echoing what the people are saying, then you know you have the support of the people.
Yeah.
So based on what we have seen, and I'm not against the budget in any way whatsoever. Sorry, the finance bill. There is a sense of people are not satisfied with what is there.
Yeah.
A group. There's a sense of another group being satisfied with what is there. But you know, democracy has a price.
Yeah.
The majority
always wins.
Always win. So it is bold to step aside from what others consider to be the popular opinion, and I trust she's making the good move, because if she doesn't, she won't come back.
Yeah.
In the next election. Yeah.
You say you do not have anything against the finance bill.
I don't have anything against
what
the finance bill.
What do you make of the finance bill?
I think it is too ambitious for now.
Yeah.
For now, it's too ambitious. I have gone through some aspects of the finance bill. I have listened to professionals on the finance bill, and it's going to take the hand of God for it to work. But you know, always as Kenyans, you're skeptical.
Yeah.
We have lost money as a people in a lot of schemes that were half baked. And you remember last time on this same desk, I told you that the 3% housing levy is not bad.
Yeah.
If it will be properly structured. And even up to now as we talk, it's not even properly structured. You remember we had Golden Bag. You remember we had the NSSF housing scheme that also people lost money. And you know, as Kenyans, you're skeptical. There's nothing new. What is there has been, and what will come already has been. Just a cycle. And the other thing that really makes me feel a bit sad is that the members of parliament who we elected to represent us in parliament, they're not being given space to exercise their work. Kenya Kwanza is threatening MPs who will not vote as per the party's decision, as per the coalition's decision, and also this other side, Azimio, is also threatening its members who will not vote as per the coalition's decision. So you come to a point where you ask yourself, are the MPs sovereign? Can the MPs exercise their work without fear? Because even from that clip that we've listened to, you're being told there will be consequences if you don't vote in favor of this. You will not get roads, you will not get this and this and this. But the government is here to serve everybody, irrespective of whether you voted for the government or you did not vote for the government. These political parties, they are here to serve us. Do you know political parties receive capitation from the government?
And that is the taxpayers' money.
That is our money. That is the 30 or 35%. That is that you're deducted.
Yeah.
So that is where I find myself in, and it is a sad affair. But I don't want to be the prophet of doom. I want to finish by saying that I consider there is progress. There is progress, and mtoto hata akizaliwa anzangi kutembea. There's that process that has to be followed. I know in due time, Parliament will be independent, Senate will be independent, the executive will be independent, in the same manner that we see the judiciary is independent. And no one will have to dance to the tune of the other party. Because if the executive wants you to do this, if you don't, they will not give you capitation. Then that is not the constitution that you envisioned for. As people were, I almost say that as we voted in 2010, and I remembered I didn't have my ID yet.
And saying something close to that, President Ruto says he will lay down mechanisms to create 1 million jobs in the country. Let's hear the president say these words, and when we come back, we weigh in.
Tuko na vijana milioni 5 Kenya hawana kazi. Wanaongezeka kutoka shuleni, kutoka college, kutoka university kila mwaka, vijana 800,000 wanaongezeka kila mwaka. Na tusipopanga mambo ya hawa vijana watapotea. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Wale vijana wanaangaishwa na pombe, wale vijana wanaangaishwa na uhalifu, wale vijana wanaangaishwa na madawa, ni vijana wa taifa letu la Kenya. Na ndio tumesema kama serikali lazima tuwe na mpango maalum. We must have a deliberate, intentional, practical plan on how to create opportunities for the young people of our country. Na ndio mmesikia nimesema tuko na mpango ya housing ambayo tunataka kujenga nyumba 200,000 kila mwaka, ndio tupate ajira ya vijana 1,000,000 kila mwaka. Si mnataka vijana wetu wapate ajira jameni? Si lazima tuwe na mpango. Tuko na mpango ya ICT, 25,000 ICT hotspots. Every ward will have an ICT hub, kwa sababu tuko na kazi nyingi kwa sekta ya digitali ili vijana wetu wapate ajira.
The promise I want to make and the commitment with the farmers that are seated here is that we are guided by your motto and your spirit of increasing productivity in your aspects of whatever we do in our farming.
Pesa imewekwa kwa idara ya maziwa, idara ya kahawa, na kuleta wakulima pamoja ili tuongeze uzalishaji wa mazao yetu.
Huyu rais wetu hataki pahali iko vita. Anataka pahali watu wanaungana kufanya maendeleo. Ndio wiki iliyopita rais alinituma hapa kwa mambo ya kahawa, nikakaa hapa siku 5. Leo rais amefika mwenyewe kwa sababu mko na amani.
When I hear the president say that he is out to create more employment opportunities for young men of the country that aren't employed, it begs a question. what strategies does he have in place? Because most of the times we've heard about a plan, mpangilio, a plan. In your own view, how exactly do you see the president achieving this ambitious goal of making sure that there is employment? And of course, when you put up houses for construction, there are people who will be able to get employment off of those schemes. But when we also look at the numbers, the figures that he's giving, 800,000 people, 500 million young Kenyans, or 5 million, sorry, young Kenyans, they would get employment. How do you see the president pulling this off?
It all boils down to the money. You know, if you have the money, you can create the employment. The president committed to doing 200,000 houses in a year that will give direct employment to 1 million youths. And, you know, there's always a ripple effect. The 1 million youths that have been given employment can create around 2-3 million jobs. That is only in the construction sector alone. But you ask yourself, what about in the other sectors? That is a big question that we need to be asking ourselves. It is good what the president is trying to do, however ambitious as I also think it is. 200,000 houses, you know, it's a big number. But you know, people also are asking the questions: how will they benefit? And as on that clip that the president spoke, is trying to be sensational in his appeal to the people. That watoto wana angaika kwa bangi, kwa ukora, and then you ask yourself, kama mtu ni mkora ukimpatia kazi, si ataiba huko umempatia? If someone is on drugs and then you enable that person with more money, then they'll get more drugs. So people, we should have programs in place that people are discouraged from using substances in a wrong manner and from engaging in criminal activities, and let us not blame it on the lack of jobs, because I've seen people who have not had jobs for a long time and haven't resulted to that. So I didn't think it was a wise move for the president to use that, but you know, when you appeal to the emotions of people, it is easier for you to get support. Is it practical? Let us wait and see. Will it manifest? Let us wait and see. You know, as I told you before, we are still waiting for the laptops that were promised by the same guy.
One day.
Yeah, but I'm hopeful. I'm very much hopeful. I hope and I trust that we get, because you know, if we have 5 million unemployed people, and then you employ 1 million people directly, then you get another 2 million indirectly employed. It's a win. It's a win.
Okay, so we say we leave that to time.
Let's give it time.
And County Assembly Forum faults SRC for increasing their salaries with Kenyan shillings 10,000. Here, the County Assembly reps are speaking to this, and when we come back, we're going to be weighing in on it.
That they have engaged stakeholders in coming with the figures, it doesn't make sense to us. And therefore, SRC must sit down with the stakeholders, which are county governments, county assemblies, and get to understand the views and perspective of representation, legislation, and oversight roles of a member of a county assembly. And therefore, no representation in review and job evaluations of the county assembly, then there will be no remuneration. We will not be interested. Further to that, we saw a situation whereby SRC would want to set the speakers of county assemblies against members of the county assemblies. We are very particular as the speakers of county assemblies that the salary reviews and increment must start with the ordinary member of the county assembly, who is the basis of representation in this country. And therefore, once you are done with resolving issues affecting our members of the county assembly on matters of remuneration, then we can have discussion as speakers, because we represent them. And therefore, what they are trying to do is not going to woodwink us as speakers about that. Then 3, there is no devolution without evolving. We cannot have resources cascaded from the national headquarters to the county headquarters. Services cannot reach the citizens of this country at the lowest level, and then we refer to that as devolution. We will not allow it. No resources at the ward level, then there is no need for devolution. We would rather have a centralized system, because what we're having in this country is 47 centralized system at the county headquarters. They must go to the wards, and that is the spirit of the Constitution.
Listening to the speakers of county assemblies asking for more pay, I was listening to someone and with the people that I know who have worked as a county assembly representatives say that sometimes you have to move out of your house because you cannot meet the demands of your constituents. But also when you look at how the country is crunched for credit, you ask yourself, where is this extra pay supposed to come from? Because when I look at the budget estimates, over 100 billion Kenyan shillings off of the budget, it is in recurring expenditure. Then you ask yourself, who deserves to be paid more and who deserves to be paid less? And how do we balance this tough equation? Because if the question is about raising revenue, we might be able to raise the revenue from the Finance Bill 2023, but still, how are we going to allocate it that when it comes to 2024, 2025, we do not come out with even a more stringent finance bill?
Let me start with your number 2 question. I understand SRC's position. Number 1, SRC is mandated to put in place mechanisms on how people will be remunerated. And what informs that decision is, number 1, the workload that you have, number 2, your level of education. And that is where the MCAs are finding it challenging, because the job group that they have only requires you to have the basic knowledge to read and to write. That is where the MCAs are categorized. Why? The requirement for them to have a certificate was quashed coming to the 2023 general elections.
2022.
2022 general elections, which in turn meant that the job group was to be lowered. I think it is the same qualification that we have for members of parliament. But the main difference is that for the members of parliament, the workload is significantly higher
as compared to
the members of the county assembly. That is where the problem is. You see, you haven't even for a single day had governors complain about their remuneration. You haven't had the president or the presidency complain about their remuneration. Why? Because they are of a different job group that requires them to have a bachelor's degree from a recognized university. If MCAs want this problem to end, then I'd advise them to put in a qualification in terms of academics, maybe a certificate or a diploma, so that you'll be treated differently because the rules are there. And the rules say if you have a diploma, you'll be remunerated differently from someone with a degree, also from someone without those documentation for the same level of work. So that is my take on it. But I think it is wrong for them to put the electorate and on a I don't know I don't know the better word to use, because some of these guys haven't worked, and when they got into office they knew what they would expect. What you've mentioned last, that they have to move out of their houses, yes, to some degree it's true, because Kenyan politics is based mainly on how much money you can give your people. That's how politics was fashioned during the 1997. Right now is when you want school fees or when you want a bursary, you go straight kwa nyumba ya MCA,
because he or she is in your locality.
Exactly.
You know where the MCA stays.
Exactly.
A walk away distance.
Yes. So you'll find a lot of MCAs, especially for the counties that are within Nairobi and its environs, they move to Karen, to Ridgeways, to Kileleshwa, because you see, with that salary, your standard rises to some degree, because you have a housing allowance of 50,000 shillings. Na mali ulikuwa unakaa maybe you used to spend around 10,000 shillings, so you really need now to up your standard kidogo, and ndio usisumbuliwe na watu wako, unaenda mbali kidogo, so that you only meet when there's a campaign, when there's an event, or when there's a function that requires you to be there. I can tell you, as a matter of fact, a lot of governors stay in Nairobi. Members of parliament stay in Nairobi. Well, we understand because parliament is in Nairobi,
yes,
but most of them stay in Nairobi. Women rep, senators, but surprisingly, a lot of MCAs also stay in Nairobi. Not MCAs for Nairobi County.
Yeah.
Kajiado MCAs stay in Nairobi. MCAs for Machakos stay in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Kiambu stay in Nairobi. Because when you stay where you are elected, every morning you'll have visitors at the gate. My good friend, Honorable Titus Madheka Masila, I had that conversation with him the other day. He told me, hataki watu wajue anaishi wapi. He has to stay hidden, because if people knew where he lives, every morning he'll have guests at the dinner table. Najua ndio watu walikupigia kura, you can't send them away.
Yeah.
So the easiest thing is for you to move away. Yeah, that is the unfortunate place that we find ourselves in.
The finance bill is set for the final reading tomorrow.
Yes.
You weigh in, or what would be your expectations, even as we're winding up the conversation?
I don't think much will change, because Kenya Kwanza has the numbers, but I'd speak to all members of parliament. You have been elected and you have a responsibility to cast your vote, whether for or against. Even if you want to refrain, be in the house. Sometimes it doesn't hold water when someone say, I'm not supporting it and I'll walk away. That person will not have an opportunity to vote, and the vote will not be counted. So even if we have 2 no's and all the others being yeses, let your vote be counted. And I want also to talk to the electorate. Soma huyu mtu umempatia kazi ya kukuwakilisha kwa bunge, kwa sababu kama anakuchezea, maybe they are supporting it na hapa nje anasema we are not supporting it, or the vice versa, then it's not right. If you've elected someone to vote, and I also think we should be able to appraise our members of parliament. How many days have you gone to parliament? Does it suffice? Why do you always walk out when it's time to vote? Such things.
Yeah.
Those are the questions I should ask. But inajua ishapita. Ishapita.
We should just brace for the outcomes.
Yes. And tushaanza kujipanga. Tunajua we have to adjust here and there.
Mali utatembea, mali utapanda gari.
Unajua hata unaambiwa tembea ukate mafuta kidogo, so badala ya kwenda gym, wacha tuikatie kwa barabara sasa.
All right, and those are sentiments of Alan Abbott and Kasanga Johnson. They are entirely ours and not sentiments of Science Media Kenya Limited as a company or as a broadcasting television. So tomorrow is the day that the finance bill goes for the third reading, and either if Parliament will officially pass it. Last week the budget was read.
Yes.
That's a whole longer discussion. We'll probably find time to weigh into the budget. Unfortunately, we did not have time for that, but we'll create time for that. And I hope you've been able to pick value from today's conversation. And let us see you tomorrow on Tuesday as we bring you Inclusion 1-on-1. Good morning, and do have a beautiful week ahead.